Hello and welcome to MGP300 Part 1. I'm Kev, and with me this week there's Sheepdog and Pabs. Say hello, boys and Pab.
Hello.
Hello.
I got to be the man.
I had another one of those moments where I was questioning, do I say boys and girls to you lot, or am I talking to the listeners when I say hello, boys and girls? Part of me suspects I'm actually telling the listeners to say hello, boys and girls. Or telling you to say hello to the boys and girls.
Yeah, I always assumed all this time that you were telling us to say hello to the boys and girls.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I am doing. But it's episode 300 part 1. For once, they can all say hello to Pab. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
They never respond, do they? I've never heard them say hello.
I sometimes get them banging on the garage door, which is a bit weird.
That's usually me, isn't it?
Yeah. As previously stated, this is part 1 of episode 300. It's part 1 for a couple of reasons. Reason number 1 is we don't have time to do a full-on episode 300 this week. Old Kev's on a hard stop because I'm at Legoland in the morning. It's also the reason why Anna's not here, and we can't do the whole of episode 300 without Anna. And also, there was a third reason. I don't know.
Was there?
Yeah, I had a third reason. I don't remember what it was. Perhaps you've got it written down somewhere, Pav. No?
If we'd have planned this out, we could have done this in some... I remember recommending this as our 300th plan. We could have started, me, you and AD, or me and you just talking nonsense, brought AD in, kicked him off after 15 minutes, got John in, just booed him for 5 minutes, and then brought Anna in for the majority of the show, and then brought Pab into... Oh, and Bouncy, sorry, I forgot Bouncy there. That's awful, I can't believe I did that. Bring Bouncy in for a bit.
Everyone else has.
He can just drop off, and then Pab can come in, and we can just continue the rest of the show from there. And it would have...
It's a partly acceptable plan. I don't know if Angry John gets a full 5 minutes to represent the one show he did.
He did more than that.
We'll let him just sort of... I think he only did one. I think he did a couple of ones where he stepped in later. But to fully represent his contribution to this show, he's allowed to walk past the microphone whilst being booed like 3 times over the course of the show, but not too close together.
He could just come on and tell us how we should fix the show by doing X. He admitted to this the other day. He was telling my colleague about it, and he said that he basically got ideas above his station, suggested a few things that ruined everything, and then left. I was like, yeah, that's how I remember it, funnily enough. So, yeah.
Plus, he tried to fight a kid.
He did, several times.
Oh, we went there in London, didn't we? Went to the actual location.
I took Pab to the spot where John challenged a child to a fight, just because I thought it's a piece of MGP history that Pab needs to have all the details of. It's no use just knowing the story. He needs to be able to picture it in his mind's eye.
Yes.
I imagine that kid's about 28 now.
It does seem like a long, long time.
It was. I was thinking about it. That was the first time we went down to Eurogamer. So that would have been 2012. So it's nearly 6 years ago that John tried to fight a child.
That means I've known John a long time as well, because I've worked with him for 4 years, and that seems mad.
Yeah, I think it's time you put the rest of the plan in action vis-a-vis John.
I might suggest ideas that fix his company and then walk away as it all goes down at work. I'm going to get the sack now. I've said that on the internet.
When we discussed this 4 years ago, that was why you were going in. Have you changed your mind?
But to get revenge because he'd wrecked
you were
radio.
I have been a little bit concerned that you're taking so long on ruining his life.
Building my contingency plans.
I had to do an extra year of teaching because of him. Right, as we are on a hard stop this evening, shall we get straight into it?
Yeah.
If you can call 5 minutes in straight in. I think that's straight in for us.
Definitely.
There will be a proper episode 300 celebration next week. Don't worry, boys and girls. And it will be our traditional E3 reaction episode as well. So not only will it be a celebration, it's going to be a big one, because obviously we've got all the E3 shenanigans going on this weekend as well. So it won't just be Pab making notes. I will have paid notes for next week's show. If next week's show doesn't run at least 3 hours, we're not doing it right.
Or they're not doing it right. Let's be fair, it's on E3 as well.
Exactly. So I imagine the game of the hour is still Detroit, as it seems to be all we're talking about when we don't have microphones in front of us.
You say that, right? I've got my little Facebook group of local nerds who play Pokemon with me.
Oh, good. Let's talk about that.
No. Hear me out. And I said to them, I've just completed Detroit Become Human. How many of you are playing it? And they literally, this is a group of at least 10 people. I can't remember how many are in there. There's some silent people in there. So many of them just never heard of it. What are you talking about?
Because it's not a game for meatheads.
Well, they're not traditionally meatheads. They're always talking about random games. They've just never heard of this one. I was very confused, but yeah.
It's because it doesn't have multiplayer and it's not called Call of Detroit Modern Warfare.
But no one at work had heard of it either.
Yeah, for the same reasons.
Mm.
It's a piece of art.
It is. It's perfect.
So, this time last week, Sheepdog, you didn't have the game yet.
Nope.
And then you have now got the game and finished the game.
I'm confused because, unless I got my days mixed up, Friday we did the show.
Yes.
I mean, I got up ridiculously late, so I wouldn't be surprised if you had the podcast out already. But at some point that morning, Henry Cheese listened to the podcast, heard I didn't have the game, emailed me a code to buy the game with. And by Saturday afternoon, I'd found my PS4, set it up, downloaded 100 patches, downloaded the massive game. And by the evening, I'd started it up and played 3 hours of it. And it was just baffling because I went to bed that Friday night thinking, for God's sakes. No, after the show, I went to bed and thought...
The three of us went to bed, yeah.
For God's sakes, I wish I could get this game. It sounds ridiculously good. It's one of those weird... I'm there thinking, just give me the game, universe. And then I woke up and I had it. And I played it every night since I got it and completed it, obviously. Although, as we kind of alluded to on Twitter, only a few people, I think, are aware. I played it on experienced mode, which... I'm going to get out ahead of you a little bit here, Kev. I've already put my colours to the mast by doing a YouTube video, putting my excuses in line. But there's two options to play it in casual or experienced. In casual mode, it nods you where you need to go and nods you at what you're supposed to do. And it's a little bit more handholdy. That's part of the reason that for the very first mission, I completely ballsed it up. And the android committed suicide and jumped off the building with the girl in his hands.
Oh my God.
The reason she didn't survive was because it said press X and I jumped and hit square thinking that was X because I'm used to holding an Xbox controller. So she died because
I've had so many moments like that. I'm getting so much heat in the comments on my videos from people saying, Kev, you're so slow to react whenever you have to press the buttons that are on screen. And it's because I have to look down at the controller and work out where the buttons are. It's the first time I've held a PlayStation controller in years.
Hey, Kev, you better practice. There's stuff coming up for you. You will not want to be messing up on.
Oh God, yeah. But I basically went Square X, no, and just watched that happen. I was gutted because I think, and I wish I'd done it on video, because I think I handled the rest of it quite well up to that point. And the android was kind of feeling me. He was on side. And then it just, I'm guessing if I'd have hit X, I'd have saved them both and it would have been fine. Ballsed it up. And then the bit that you're more angry with me about, and Anna told me to restart the game, was I was playing the first mission of Kara, is it?
Yes.
And the game, so the character says, don't move, or I'm going to beat the hell out of you, or whatever. He swears, I think. And the game comes up with, you know, when it gives you a task and it says in the corner, whatever the task is. And the task on this one just said in a grey box, don't move. So I put the controller on my lap and I sat there. And, oh my God, it was horrible. But I thought, so before that bit, I'd gone upstairs, done the tidying. I'd found the guy's gun and put it in a drawer and shut the drawer, and it wouldn't let me go back in the drawer. It had a lock on it. So I thought, okay, the drawer's locked. He can't shoot anyone. He's on tablet, so I know he's depressed. Go in the girls' room, have a chat with her. I opened the window. I told her everything would be fine. It said something at the end of that bit, like she knew the window was open or something like that. So anyway, when I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, I'm thinking this is a test because the game's telling me to stay still. If I go upstairs, I'm probably going to interfere with this in a way that ends up with someone getting shot or whatever, and it's going to be a nightmare. It's saying stay still. Is it trying to bluff me into, react, and then you've made a massive mistake, you fool. We told you what to do and you didn't listen. And no, that wasn't what happened. I just had to listen to this horrific scene. And then it did a cut scene where the bloke just shouted at Cara going, "This was all your fault. This is all you." And then it just went black and told me that Cara and Alice were dead. And I only got 2/3 of a game then because I didn't have any more missions for Cara.
You are a ridiculous human being.
Yep.
It was just
no wonder you finished it before us.
Yeah. Now, I still think it's the best game I've played this generation. If not, I mean, I can't think of a better story.
Which is fascinating because the Cara bits are the best bits of the game by a mile.
I don't know. I'll replay it and I'll find out, because I was saying to Pab last night, I just don't really. I said I'm starting to see it almost like she's just DLC, a bit of fluff. But I guess it's designed so that anyone can essentially die and the story will carry on without them. Obviously, otherwise it would have broken. But it was such a powerful story, so clever, so good, so many offshoots, so many bits where I was like, I can't even imagine how it would have gone differently. I was wondering, and again, this isn't anything spoilery, but sometimes you can make a decision and it's really, and it's like, it says it has 4, so it's like a black and white, yes and no binary decision, but it gives 4 offshoots. So I was wondering whether the game almost flips a coin internally and gives you one of 2 options. So that none of them are yes, no questions, but let's say the question was a yes, no answer and you say yes. It feels like there's 2 potential yes outcomes and 2 potential no outcomes, and it just picks one because, and I've not confirmed that anywhere by researching it or looking at it. It just seemed like it was saying, "Oh, this happened," and I'm like, "But you're telling me that it could have happened a different way, even though I answered yes and that was the only option." It's baffling how it works it all out, but there were some massive offshoots on some of these bits.
Interesting. I didn't realise you'd killed Cara. I knew you'd ballsed up. I didn't realise you'd ballsed up that mad.
Oh, right. I thought
I'm blown away by your incompetence.
Yeah.
I was mortified. I was mortified. As you can imagine, it was horrific. It was genuinely. I went to bed that night just like haunted.
At what point did you not think Anna's right? I should have started again, because you are literally 2 missions in.
I don't know what your memory's like, Pab, unless you're just purposely. But basically, Anna said you need to start the game again, and you said don't start the game again.
Oh no, in the sense of I wanted to see how it panned out. In the sense,
you didn't know that I'd lost her completely.
No, I didn't have a clue. But I said don't do it because I want to see how different your story is to our story in that sense now.
Yeah, well.
I was thinking, I wonder what all Cara's scenes are going to be like without Alice there. This is going to be a bit weird. Has she got a whole separate storyline?
No, they just
nothing.
Yeah. But that's the thing, because what baffles me is I'm looking at this going, what relevance did she have to anything for the rest of you lot? Like, you know?
Well, you have to find out, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be weird having this whole extra bit of depth to
Spoiler
it.
cast coming in after the E3 episode. So we'll do E3 and then a spoiler cast on Detroit when we've all finished it. Because Sheepdog is the only one who's finished it. I keep telling him that he can't use the word complete. Oh, you finished it as well, have you, Pab? I haven't been told about this. I stopped reading the chat when Sheepdog started dropping spoilers.
So Sheepdog dropped a spoiler, which subconsciously made me do the wrong decision.
Well, it didn't. But also,
not necessarily the wrong decision, but it seemed like a wrong decision. He triggered something in my head, and I went, "Yeah, Sheepdog did. Yeah, okay, let's do this."
That happened to me though, not in the Cara thing. I can't blame Kev for the Cara thing, but I can blame Kev for certain times in the first couple of hours where I kept thinking, because in my head it was just Kev going, "I even found out that just not doing anything was an option," and that would just echo in my head every time, and I'd be like, "Why did he have to say that? Why?" And so that nearly did me in on a couple of bits. I didn't know other stuff could go wrong. And apparently your videos have a lot of ridiculous things happening in them. And a friend of mine said that he had like one character of his that he just kept getting wrong over and over and over again, and he couldn't seem to get it right. Whereas for me, that was, I mean, I don't know whether the game just said, look, mate, you've already killed a third of these, maybe.
Potential spoiler, skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't want a potential spoiler. I know from the trophy list, there's an I'll be back trophy that if you kill Connor 8 times throughout the game, you get that trophy.
Nice. I know
you're well on course to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going for it now. I'm trying to kill him at every opportunity.
I didn't know that was possible until I watched your videos.
No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't know that it was possible. I can't think of any point in the story where that could have been a possibility for me. I can't wait to do the spoiler cast because obviously I can go into more detail. But I was very pleased. Like the ending, I loved. I was just like, this is so good. It was such a good story.
The thing is, right, me and Sheepdog had a brief chat last night. And Sheepdog's story is different to my ending, ever so slightly.
I just hope it is.
It is. Well,
if they telltaled us, I'd be mortified at this point. I want there to be. Heavy Rain had like 5 different endings.
Oh, mate, this has got more than 5 as far as I'm aware.
I should hope so. We're 10 years further on.
Mine said that something like 19% of people had got my ending. And I thought, how does that work? Because only 2% of people had lost Kara. But Pab, you said your ending had a higher percentage, didn't it? Or was it similar? I can't remember now.
Mine did have a higher ending. It was something like 30-something percent, maybe, something like that.
I'm getting the old vanilla ending.
But somebody somebody said that because I don't think it means the makeup, like the people in there or whatever. I think it just means the outcome of the specific threads.
Yeah.
Because I could flick through with, I didn't realise, again, this shows how not having Kara in it affected things. I didn't realise till very late on that you could press R1 and see what the other characters had done during that time. And, like when you see the big thing. So when I looked at hers, it was just all locked, blank. And I was like, oh man, there's a story there.
But that is there are, towards the end of the game, there are multiple quests that you can or cannot unlock, sort of thing, based on where you've gone in the story. Because I had that towards the end. I had 2 separate missions which were there, but they were just all blank on the flowchart because I didn't physically get to them. They weren't unlocked for me. So there are ways to unlock or go a different branch again, sort of thing, and do that mission instead of the one I did. Maybe, I don't know.
There were times when stuff I'd done early on just inexplicably affected the scene later on, and I hadn't even imagined it could. And I was it gave you this real like, I'm so amazed that that's how they threaded it. That's how good this writing was, that there'd just be simple things. And I was saying to you, wasn't I, that there were just points where I picked an option thinking it was definitely the obvious option. And then it would tell me that like less than 5% of people did the way I did it. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And then there were just times when I made a mistake and it told me that 0% of players made that mistake. So I'm guessing I'm in like a minority of 100 that ballsed up at the point which is all it means. Less people made that mistake than killed Kara, according to what I was reading about the stats. So I definitely got a unique playthrough. I can't wait to play it again with Kara. I loved it though. I'm so pleased I got this Sheepdog edition. I wish I'd filmed it. I wish I'd recorded it because, you know, I don't think I could play it like that again if I tried, knowing what I know, you know. But apparently there's all sorts of options for playing it, which it's fun reading the Reddit briefly afterwards and just hearing about how mad it goes for some people.
Well, hopefully I'll have a mad one. I'd like to have a mad one. A mad one should get me the views. Kev likes views.
I mean, you will get, I mean, like I say, based on some of your videos, Kev, I'm like, I don't understand how you got to this conclusion at times. I'm baffled at times. Where you spent nearly 10 minutes in Jericho looking for a woman, and I was like, he's just circling round and he's walking past the doorway where she is. She's there.
But how am I to know she's in there?
I found her by mistake. I was well annoyed. I thought I'll have a wander round. I'm going to avoid this woman as much as possible. And then walked into a bloody tent.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, it doesn't tell you she's in a tent. How am I to know she's in a tent? I was too busy setting barrels on fire.
Let's put it this way. Right, okay, let's put it this way. You were stood right in front of it, about to go in, and then you doubled back and then you spent another 10 minutes in there lighting the barrels before you went back that way.
Well, I'm glad you did. I lit all the barrels as well.
Yeah, I assumed she was going to appear once the barrels were all lit.
I thought, oh, he's not going to do the barrels. Interesting. Okay. He's just going, oh, no, he's doubling back. There you go.
I thought your one told you what to do, though, and made it yellow on the screen.
Not for everything. There are certain clues and stuff where you have your Batman vision and it'll highlight a clue that you can interact with, but it doesn't like say, now go click here, now go click there. There's still decision and discovery and stuff.
Another spoiler-free comment from me, and I think you're well beyond this point anyway, but there is a moment in my version where it doesn't, because I didn't have any prompts of where stuff was on the screen. I didn't see something, just a random object, just a side thing. And because I never saw it, it had dramatic consequences later in the game that that's the only thing about the entire game that just annoyed me. I was like, you are kidding me. Because I was like, what? And I looked it up afterwards and someone said to me, yeah, if you played it on casual, this is why I got the whole casual thing out ahead going, well, apparently in casual mode, it tells you what to look at and stuff like that. But because it didn't, it affected me. And I was just, I can't believe it's basically giving me a kick up the backside for simply not coming across, because I'm more like Anna, where I go and look at every corner and every shelf and every, book. I was reading all the magazines and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But apparently I missed one item in like whatever chapter early on, and that miffed me, but I can let that slide. I think that if I was saying how much it affected me, like out of 100, I'd probably say, right, it's 99 now because of that or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It was near perfect, except that one bit bothered me. And I will get it right next time. Sorry, Pab, go on.
So, Sheepdog, did you have motion control in your game?
Where you had to move the control down to the right?
Yes.
And yeah, I did.
Yeah, so I watched Kev's video because I thought, have I gone mad or something? I was doing this, and yours wasn't. They're not in your videos, Kevin. It's not on your system, is it? The motion control stuff.
I have done some now. I've recorded like the next 4 videos that haven't been released yet. So I've nearly finished the game now, so there is some motion control.
You've done the ones where you've got to like lift the controller up or drop it down or turn it right and left.
I've done one where I had to shake it. That was the only motion control I've had, just shaking it.
It's just when characters want to jump on stuff and things like that. You have to
certain actions that just you've got to be very precise with it, and it's just enough to throw you when you're looking for button prompts, and it just shows the controller like for a split second. You're like, oh, what was that? And it's down. Just you got to slam the controller down, sort of thing, or turn it sideways to open the door or something like that. And it's when this game is amazing, right? But towards the end, I was wanting it to be over because it is stressful as hell, knowing full well that you doing quick time events is a life and death situation for these characters, and I was just like, I need this to be over now. This is stressing me out. It is really stressful when you like you say, Sheepdog. It is not when you primarily using Xbox controllers. There is so much like quick taps and presses towards the end, and like long 30-second quick time.
When it was saying press left or right, I wasn't sure which analog stick it was telling me to press left or right on, and I kept alternating, and it kept telling me I was getting it wrong. So I ended up every time just pressing both left and both right, and that seemed to work for me because I wasn't sure what it was telling me to do on those ones.
Yeah, it's an amazing game, but like I say, the controls and stuff like that were. I felt a little cheated at times.
Well, I've been mocked in the comments for the amount of times I'm saying clunky in these videos because the controls in the camera are just clunky. They're
very old school, aren't they?
Yeah, it could do with just having someone who knows how to make a game get involved in it. This guy spins a good yarn and does a pretty picture of a face, but hasn't got a clue how to set up the controls for a video game.
I think the camera was okay for me, but the controls.
R1 does camera peak. I meant to tell you this.
Yeah, it spins it around, doesn't it? But you can't.
Yeah,
it's still not that helpful.
No, it's better than being stuck in a corner, pointing in the wrong direction, not the wrong direction to go though. Because, like I say, it does get you in them places at the time. You're like, I can't get out of it. I'm turning left and it's walking me further into the corner. I've got to rotate the camera, sort of thing.
Having controls do. I'm trying to think of the right so some of the real big decisions, and it's like, which button are you going to press to decide the fate of this person?
Yeah. I mean,
and the amount of times I hit the wrong bloody one.
Yeah, I did. There is a bit towards the end of the game in Kyra's story, so Sheepdog don't know this, and maybe Kev won't either, where I have to run. And I'm running, and it says, tap X to sprint. So I'm just tapping it like a maniac, just going absolutely crazy with it. And then it goes to a cutscene bit, and it goes back to her, and I'm still tapping it, and it gave me 4 options on the screen, but I hit X, so I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. So it was on for a split second, and I selected it option X because I was tapping X still for run. And I was like, I feel a bit cheated now. Because this, and at the time, I felt absolutely robbed because it was a key decision, and it absolutely wrecked me. That did, because it was, like I say, it was. In my mind, it's life and death decision that I made by accident, and I couldn't do anything about it.
You say that, I was saying about the thing I didn't see, and then I had an impossible kind of thing later on. I forgot to tie in the fact I'm referencing Kev's. I didn't realise you could just do nothing, because basically I had 4 options and I had absolutely no context to answer the question. And yes. I just thought, maybe not doing anything is the answer. Like in my head, I didn't know you could just do nothing. And Kev's voice just echoing in my head. And because I did nothing, it defaulted to one of the answers, and yes. Then just reacted to that one. And I was like, well, that's not fair. Silence should have been an option. That felt like the one point in the game where the writing just seemed a little bit off, because it had made it too black and white. You either got it right or you didn't, or whatever. And it was like, well, there's so many other ways that could have gone. And I don't know. It's ultimately, I mean, it was funny talking to you too and getting Anna's feedback from proxy of Kev, because we even had the debate last week where Kev was getting chastised for saying he was playing it wrong. And then we all agreed ultimately the way Kev plays it is the right way because it's Kev's way. And then, so when I started it, I thought, it's, everyone's agreed the way you play it is the right way because it's your game. And then everyone was just like, you're an idiot, Sheepdog. You're a monster. Start again. And then I had Nikki Wilson on Twitter just going, you're a moron. What's wrong with you? You've got kids. How could you not help Alice? And I'm like, mate, you don't understand. He was laying the heck into me because I'm a monster.
Reasonable. You are a monster.
And he was like, why didn't you start it again? And I'm like, because there was no wrong answers. The game plays. The perfect thing about this game is, even though it frustrated me when I made the wrong decision at any point, you kind of just felt like, well, I've done it now. Let's just see how it goes. And it doesn't matter, because you'll still get an ending, and that ending will be your ending the first playthrough. And you can play it again later on. And I loved the fact that when it ended, I was just like, so that's what happens in Sheepdog World, is it? And then I thought, I'll start it again sometime over the weekend and see what happens with a bit more context and just a bit more Kara.
Yeah,
a bit more.
More than one chapter. I'd forgotten her name by the end. I was like, that woman, the woman android. Like, everybody else is talking about her as their favourite character.
The star of the game.
The effective main character of the game.
And I'm just like, yeah, what's her face, For me, I mean, this is, again, why I don't really get it. I thought Marcus was the main character of the game and the star of the game. With Connor having an awesome sort of side story. And if you did a film, those two would easily be the mirror. It's a bit like Catch Me If You Can, almost, having seen it the way I've seen it, I'm looking at it thinking, how does Cara even fit? But obviously for you two, she's the star. So I'm well excited that I get to play it again with a Cara.
See how many times you can kill Connor. Go in there trying to kill him. Get that achievement. Bet you can't do it as many times as me. I'm filling that graveyard.
I kind of want to play it the way I played it, but with Cara, so that I can see how it would have been if I hadn't been such a plonker. But I also want to play it the way you're saying, so I'm going to have to play it 2 more times to achieve
fill that graveyard. Why would there be a graveyard there if it's not to be filled?
I don't even know what graveyard you're talking about.
Connor's graveyard.
If you didn't get him killed, there's no graves there. I was baffled. I only found out when Kev went over and went, "What's this?" And I was like, "Oh my god, they're graves."
I honestly,
that is really cool. But yeah, I wouldn't have known it. I got my Connor killed once, and I don't know. I knew the graveyard was there, but until Kev had shown it me, I didn't think that was a thing that was actually possible. It was cool.
Right, you've had more than half of your allotted time on this one game. Is there anything else we want to discuss, or are we just going to keep going on Detroit?
No, because I'm verging on spoiling stuff.
27 minutes left before I just pull the plug on this bad boy.
Yes, well, I've got one game to talk about. One other game that's taken up a lot of my time this week as well. It's called The Forest. I know you guys haven't heard of it. I bet that is true. Yeah.
The Forest.
I have heard of it. I asked you what it was the other week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you sort of grunted at me.
Did I?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like me. So yeah, this is a game where it's a survival game where you get stranded on an island and you have to
manage Nottingham Forest.
Sort of, yeah. If only. It's a Brian Clough story. It's a game where you have to find your son. Your plane crashes on this island and your son gets taken away from you by cannibals. You have to try and find him.
Unless you Sheepdog, in which case you just stand there and let him be brutally murdered.
I mean, maybe, yes. That. I mean, to be fair, I think I've done that in this game because this game is multiplayer. So 4 of us are playing it at a time. Just go around. So we get off the plane. You go around, collect some duty free as you do, some chocolate and some Toblerones and whatnot, and off you go into the world. Start scavenging for wood and what did you find that?
At a time, eh? Thanks for the invite, Pab. Good to see me and Sheepdog are in your top 3 friends.
Yeah, have you got it?
Could have done. If I'd have known.
Yeah, could have tried.
Well, we'll do it next time. But
it's fine. I know where I stand now.
So it's a survival game. So you have like a hunger meter, a thirst meter, like your stamina bars and whatever. So you have to sleep and whatever and do other things. But all I was interested in is just building an Ewok village straight away because you can build tree houses and just build platforms in the trees. I'm like, all I want to do is build an Ewok village. Then that's all I want to do. Sod the kid. I don't want to know. Go finding the kid. I want to build a settlement and start like a new sort of like civilization on this island. So I've been doing that all week. Middle of the week, my Ewok village got destroyed. A big set of weird, freakish-looking cannibals turned up and chopped my trees down. So I was kind of devastated at that. So now the quest is let's get this game finished then and actually go and do it. So it's kind of cool. It's just a nice, fun game to play with your mates. Just sort of sat around doing not a lot, just sort of crafting stuff, building armor with all these body parts, what have you, and smashing up cannibals and looking down cave sites and trying to find your kid. No success yet. Hopefully I'll find him this weekend. I don't know.
Hopefully you'll find him.
I don't know where he's going to be at this stage. I mean, it's been like about 2 weeks since the plane crashed in game time. So I don't know where he is. I don't know. They've probably eaten him, to be fair.
Is this just the story of Michael from Lost, basically?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's called Walt.
He's called Timmy. Of course he is.
Timmy!
Yeah. So it's just go on.
No, I was going to say, while you're talking about finding the son, I don't know if you've noticed that Kev's lost his PC. He's tweeting us at the moment.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I didn't know whether you were being the perfect host.
Oh, no, I was just going. I didn't see the message, no. So
let's just keep this. He'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. But
that's fine. So What sort of is this? First person, third person?
It's all first person. It's all in first person. So it's all like it is all first person, and like I say, you get like a survival guide book, so you like get told, okay, this is these because Timmy had a survival book in his backpack, so you've got a survival guide book of like, oh, these berries are poisonous, these you can eat. These things you can build, like sort of thing with sticks and wood and what have you, and you've got like a backpack and you can put like items like sticks and like feathers together and stuff like that in your backpack.
A picture of the bow and arrow. It looks a bit rudimentary, doesn't it?
It is, but it's sticks and rope.
String,
It's nothing special, but it's like I say, there's nothing particularly. It seemed a bit like Rust to me. If you remember Rust from a few years ago, that was like a survival game.
So looking at it, it's pretty unexpected. I was imagining.
Oh yeah, it's really pretty game in places.
Ready, but...
it really is pretty in places. But it came out of it was on early access like 2 or 3 years ago, like 2014, 2015 maybe. And that was just single player, but the fact that it's multiplayer has really sort of like brought it into its own. It's just massive on YouTube at the minute. And I'd been watching a couple of videos on it, and I was like, I kind of fancy this. And I noticed that a couple of my mates already had it, and I went, "Oh, go on then." It's like 15 quid, and I was like, "Yes, had it. Why not? Let's have a go at this at weekend." And it's between this and Detroit, I've been just kind of stuck doing both of these. Like, if no one's online, sort of thing, I'll do Detroit, and if people are online, I'll end up playing the Forest. And like I say, at the minute, my Ewok village has been destroyed, so we've got no real camp anymore because I built all these massive walls around it and everything. And these big monsters, and they're like monsters, they're like 8-legged monster freak things, and like they've made all these like mutant creatures type things, and they just come smashing through. There's a guy that looks like a giant chicken that you'd have on a rotisserie. He's just like a big blob of a man with legs, and he just charges around. He smashed through my walls, and then they knock my trees down and stuff. So, like I say, we've like, right, let's get into the cave systems and what have you. And they give you like occasional clues and stuff in the game. So you'll get like tapes or like little VCR type things to go in your camcorder. If you've got a camcorder, so you can watch videos. And it's giving you more and more clues. So there is like a story to this game, but I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm just enjoying the actual world and just building nonsense and stuff like that.
That sounds cool.
It's all right. It's an all right game, to be fair. Like I say, I don't know. I know that some people have already finished it, and they're saying it's got a really weak ending. I was like, it doesn't really bother me. I'll get a 15 quid out of it if I've like played like 10 hours or whatever and just messed around for a bit. So I think the story isn't a massive thing when it's all multiplayer stuff. You just dossing around. So yeah, those are the 2 games that have taken up my time this week. Oh, there is something else as well, Sheepdog. I can bring that up as well while Kev's not here. My Nintendo Switch has faltered.
Faltered? In what way?
It says I picked it up on Saturday night to have a go on it, and it popped up going, "Oh, can't connect to your network." I went, "Oh, that's all right. That's strange." I'll restart my router, turned it all off, restarted the router, came back. Yeah, we can't find your network. I don't know what's going on. Just try restarting your Switch for us. And I was like, okay, restarted the Switch. Oh no, there's no network here. We can't find anything. I was like, oh no, here we go. So I've troubleshooted over the weekend and come to the conclusion that there is some sort of fault with the network adapter type thing in the Switch.
Is it common, that thing, or?
I don't know. Not to my knowledge, no. So I've been onto Nintendo, where they continue to send me through all the exact same things that I've done over the weekend. They went through every single step again with me, just to prove the fact that it wasn't working. So I've now sent it off to Nintendo. So I'm now at a Switch until hopefully next week. But who knows? Who knows how long it's going to be? They said it's between 7 and 9 days usually. And they also asked me for if it was in warranty, and it isn't. So I don't know how much it's going to cost me either. They've got me over a barrel there, Sheepdog.
Has it been out long enough to not be under warranty?
It came out in March, so I got it on the day of release. So I've had it like another 3 months after that. Yeah, another 3 months.
What kind of warranty is that?
12-month warranty. That's how most things work. Unless there is an extended warranty sort of thing with it. I don't know. When they might, but they said, when did you get it? And I told them when I got it, so I assumed it was out of warranty for a 12-month warranty. But now they've got my Switch, so I assume they've got it now at some point, because I posted it off on Wednesday. And
they can't give you a bill, surely. They can't fix it and go, yeah.
I'm assuming they're going to contact me via email saying, this is how much it's going to cost.
Right, the trick here.
Go on.
No, do you know what? I was going to say, and then I thought we were on a podcast. I can't really give you advice. I was going to be like, the trick is to have it fall off your desk, Pab, and then the trick is to invite Kev round because he's now no longer on the show. Leave your Switch on the edge, get him to knock it down, and then say, "What have you done?" And then when it doesn't work, make him give you his Switch.
Well, I could do that, but it's a bit late now for that.
Another alternative would be to sell it on eBay, post it to someone and tell them it got damaged in transit and they have to pay for it anyway. I don't condone that, really. I'm just being a monster.
No, I mean,
the comedy effect.
I'm hoping mine got there in all in one condition because I just like...
Just tell them you sent it in working condition.
They said to me, send it all in the original package, you can get lost.
Be flogging that.
Original packaging. Yeah, exactly. I told them I haven't got my original. I have got my original packaging, but I'm like, last time I did that, I sent my original 360 off, and they went, "Yeah, just put it in the box. We'll send it you back." And then they sent it back in just a brown cardboard box. I went, "I might flog this later on without a box now." Cheeky sods. So I'm not falling for that trick again. So I just wrapped it in loads of bubble wrap, put a cloth around it so it was all nice and cozy, and it's off. It's gone to Nintendo. So we'll see. Even if I get an email back, you'll find out probably next week on episode 300 part 2 of the E3 Spectacular. That is whether or not I got my Switch back. Because I was looking forward to all this E3 stuff coming up, and Nintendo have a knack of just going, "It's out now. Go on the eShop and get it all now."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and you're not going to be able to do it.
I'm not going to be able to do that now. I was like, oh, but I've even thought, I've come to the realization, are they going to wipe my saves?
Surely not.
Distraught. Well, there is a thing in their like blurb at the bottom, like their disclaimer saying, "We'll try not to wipe your saves," but it ultimately comes down to it. We will have to wipe your saves.
Oh, they're just putting that through a magnet, aren't they? They're just someone's
I don't know.
there at Nintendo.
I don't know what they're doing, but I have heard reports that the stuff comes back and it's all still intact and what have you.
You'll get that back, and he'll have just saved over it himself. He'll have completed all your games.
Well, this is the thing, you see. So there's no games on there now, right now, because the games are stored on a memory card, but the saves are stored internally. It's bonkers. The system they have is bonkers. You can't move saves onto the SD card. You can't do anything with it at all, realistically. All you can do is just leave them on your Switch. Coming up in September, there is a Nintendo Online service, which will let you store them in the cloud for $20 a year. So I thought, I can't even do that. Even if that was available right now, I can't connect to the internet.
Do you know what? I was like, why can't you do it now? Forgetting that that's the point.
Yeah, my problem is I can't get any internet access, so I can't even put it in the cloud if I wanted to. So I'm like, it's got to have to go then. I can't not do it, can I? And just hope that my 55 to 60 hours of Zelda isn't gone. My umpteen 100 stars in Super Mario Odyssey aren't gone.
Oh, that'd be tragic. Have you completed Zelda though?
No, I started playing it again in the last few weeks. When we went to Comic-Con, I played it when I was in London. I'm starting getting back into
Zelda
it.
Accidentally cut your
and I was just like, if I lose my Zelda save, then hello Kev, he's back.
Oh yeah, he's back.
So if I lose my Zelda save,
if you ever mention Star Trek on this podcast again, and it does that again, I will come over there and destroy you. The minute you said Ewok, I blue screened. That was the last word I heard.
Do you know what was really funny? When you started on Twitter going, "Bloody Ewoks," he just said it a second time, and you sent a second picture of your blue screen. And I was just like giggling to myself, like, quietly thinking, like, Pab can't see any of these messages, but literally every time you said Ewok, Pab, he sent another picture of his
I'm
blue
going to have to
screen.
look at this now. So there's been 2 Star Trek incidents this week already, and then, hasn't it? Just the one that's just happened, and Sheepdog taking your jokes.
Oh yeah, Sheepdog just steals all my bits now. Apparently.
Oh, you Star
Well,
Trek
no,
bits.
I mean, that's like my response to you was proof that you're not adverse to stealing my bits. Plus, it was more of a play on your joke anyway. That ridiculous moment. I went on Facebook and it's just a big, very advert going, why not have another look at these things? And I'm thinking, well, I didn't look at that random white costume in the first place.
Yeah, you did.
What do you mean?
I've seen you wearing one of them.
I thought, I was like, what have I forgotten? I was thinking, if you'd have said last week's show, I sent you it, I'd have been completely baffled. So yeah, Pabs finished talking about his Switch being broken and the Forest game. Yes. I think that's it for games, isn't it?
I've just downloaded West of Loathing while I was waiting on my Switch. It's the first time I've turned the Switch on for 2 weeks.
Shut up, you swine!
Was it
rubbing it in there?
Did you turn it on? Did you turn it on in 2 weeks because 2 weeks ago I had an internet problem, and then you met with Pab, and then you picked up your one and went home, and it's been working since. But Pabs is mysteriously broken.
That sounds vaguely correct. Yeah.
Swine.
So TV wise, I mentioned earlier that I watched the new Arrested Development. I was worried about watching it because obviously all this stuff, this controversy happened, didn't it? And they'd been all funny about it and have been a bit coy. They even split season 5 into 2 halves, which I hadn't realised. So it's 8 episodes now and 8 later in the year. Really? I really hope they bring out the 8. I'm hoping nothing more comes out about this man, because it was actually surprisingly good. I rewatched season 4 with the remix, and at first didn't think it was very funny, but got further into it. And I remember mentioning last week, it was great. Season 5 just carries on. It's like a few months later, or maybe even a year later. I can't remember now. But it's still the same story. It follows on from the fact that at the end of season 4, a character is either, you can't tell, they're either hurt, dead, missing, who knows. And then season 5 just mentions and carries on from that story. It was just funny. I was very pleased. You know, it's exactly what I'd have wanted from it. I just hope they've not destroyed their legacy with all the scandals that seem to be coming out now.
Yeah, it's a shame, that, isn't it, really, to be fair?
Yeah. But that's it for me, TV-wise. Everything else has been pretty normal. Supergirl had another... I said it picks a random social justice warrior theme of the week. This week's one was that the DEA had been making guns to fight aliens, and a gun salesman had started selling them to civilians. So they had this whole anti-gun theme rant about how guns are bad, and then decided to stop using guns, even though they're supposed to be protecting the world. It doesn't add up. They just decided they're a force for peace, not a force for guns. But it was just like, for God's sakes, I just want to watch a TV show about a Kryptonian who deals with some issues, and it's all quite, it's not in your face. I don't need Martian Manhunter giving me a speech about how guns are designed to kill and not to protect. If you want to protect, fight with a shield. Some nonsense line like that.
Oh.
It's just
that was West of Loathing starting up. I apologise.
I thought it was your 10:30 alarm to say end the show. I was waiting for you to drop the C-bomb you promised.
Yeah, that's how I'm ending it.
Have you guys watched anything this week?
No.
No. I'm trying to watch Westworld, but I've just not had time. With the fact that this, like, Detroit has been looming, and I thought, and then Sheepdog mentioned he's finished it. I was like, oh God, I've got to finish it now. So I've just been pouring my time into, like, the 2 games that I've been playing, realistically.
Is Westworld sponsored by Detroit? Because you think that'd be a obvious...
You think it's a 1-2, wouldn't you? It's not, I don't think, no. It's HBO, and HBO doesn't need any sponsorship.
Is a perfect time with Detroit.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of... Even the music is very similar.
Yeah, I forgot about Humans.
So,
Is Humans on right now, though? Because I see
season 3's on right now.
I've never watched it. I'll have to start it maybe.
You should. It's excellent.
I want these androids to exist, even though
they do in Humans.
I was going to say I should learn from the game though that we need to do it right. But
when you watch Humans, you'll realise that Detroit just ripped the story off completely.
Yeah, it's not the fact that Humans didn't come up with a story. It's quite an age-old story.
You're an age-old story.
It's just, it was fascinating to play it out. I just want an android that helps around the house now.
You've been an iPhone man for years. You're never going back to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be really pedantic, Jetsons did this story back in the, 70s?
Never heard of him.
60s.
George Jetson and his boy Elroy.
Never met him.
Oh, yeah.
Her family. Jane, his wife.
Doesn't ring any bells.
Can't remember.
Right, we've got 8 minutes. Comic books.
Yes.
Go.
Go on in, Pab.
Nothing. You want me, it's just me.
I was being polite, but I'll go if you want.
You go, because you've been off for 10 minutes.
I'm continuing my my journey through Marvel Unlimited, and I've discovered a website, which I forget what it's called. I need to look it up on my phone now to see what it's called. But basically, they specialize in mailing lists of Marvel reading orders, and they've got a 2018 challenge on, where they set you like between 100 and 150 single issues a month to take you through a certain period of Marvel history. And the one they're doing this year is the period that starts with Marvel Knights and takes you all the way up to basically Civil War, I think. So filling in the gap from about 98, 99 through to when I kind of picked up with like 2005, 2006, I guess. So I've read the Inhumans run from 1999, which is brilliant. And I'm now reading through a load of old Deadpool. And I thought I didn't like Deadpool in the comics because I've read a lot of the current Deadpool and it's all been rubbish. Deadpool from 1997, 1998 is awesome. It's basically the Deadpool from the movies.
Yeah.
They've clearly he's read all the old comics and based the movies on those, which obviously is the right thing.
It's a parody now, isn't it? Basically,
yeah. I don't know why they're doing this awful version of Deadpool in the comics now when they've got a movie that's really successful based on the comics from when it was good. And it doesn't make any sense to me. But I've been working through all those. Some absolute hero sent me the rest of the Jason Aaron Thor run that's not on Marvel Unlimited yet. So I got a whole load of books turn up. So I'm going to read through that as well. Still haven't touched Black Magic Volume 2 because my pile is ever growing. I've got Supergirl Being Super that's arrived this week as well. I think that's what it's called. The little standalone miniseries that they did like a year and a half ago now that's finally out as a trade.
I did see
that arrived this week. I know I read the first couple of issues of that when it was out and loved it, which is why I stopped buying single issues and ordered the trade, not realizing it would take a year and a half to come out.
Wow.
But that's here as well. My pile of shame just for this week, look, I'm looking at it from where I'm sitting now, is probably about 4 inches high. So I need to put my iPad down, stop reading 20-year-old Deadpool and crack on with some of this before I create a fire hazard. And that was Kev's Week in Comics.
Cool. Sheepdog?
I mean, I've not got that much to say, and I'm conscious of time. I've just been reading the usual lot, so I'll leave it to you, mate.
Okay, so trying to get through my series of Volume 1s. This week I started Monstrous. No. What you've heard of this, haven't you?
I have all the volumes on my shelf. Have not read any of them.
You have all the volumes on your shelf?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's only 3 volumes, I think. If there's more than 3, I don't have them all.
So why did you say all like you were casting your arms across a great library?
Yeah, well, they're thick.
So I've got to confess, I've read about 3 chapters of it.
Don't tell me.
I find it really...
I've made an investment here.
I find it really hard
I've
to
got
get
money
into.
on the table for this one.
No, I like the world and what have you, but it's just really, I don't know if it's just I've been like busy at work and because I primarily read on dinner break. I don't know if it's just I've been busy at work and I've just not really been in the mind frame to do it. I just find it really hard to read.
What
I don't
you
know
need
why.
to do, Pab, is have proper long poos. Then you wouldn't have to read at work.
Yeah.
You need to stop eating such a high-quality diet. Eat a lot more rubbish, and
no, I do. Oh, trust me, I
do.
do. Trust me, I do. But I tend to take my iPad and then just end up watching Twitch.
You monster.
So that's how it ends up. But it seems like a good story. There's like a story of like these like arcanic like monster like animalistic kind of race, and then there's like these like human race that are witches, and the witches kind of like are like trying to hunt these arcanic elements and trying to like they're trying to. I think they just basically feed on them and trying to like experiment on them. And then there's this one girl, Micah, who has like a power inside her that's like a monster, but she looks human. And then, like I say, I don't quite follow what's going on. There's a cat that talks. There's a little kid that the girl frees, and it's like a cat person. It's like it's got like a wolf's tail, a fox's tail, and like fox ears and stuff like that. It's just like I don't know. I got it because it was on the Eisner Award lists. So I was like, oh, I'm all about that because I've looked at it for a while, but I will continue reading it. But it's just been a really hard week to read it. The other thing I've read is my Barrier number 5 has turned up. Has your 4th turned up yet, Kev?
No, I've got 5, but I'm still missing 4. I don't understand Forbidden Planet. It's ridiculous.
That is bonkers. It's fine. It's fine. It's 5 the end of the run.
Yeah.
So 5 ends. 5 ends with a cliffhanger that you expect there's going to be more of, and there probably isn't.
Nah, there won't be.
It's fine. It's fine. It's nice and colourful. There is a section where the Spanish guy speaks, the Mexican guy who speaks Spanish is speaking English.
Ah. So it's just being awkward for the rest of the book.
No. It's like the whole Spanish section, which is translated to English.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get a gist of his background because it's like a flashback to his background sort of thing. So yeah, it's just fine. It is just fine. I mean, like I say, I'm glad I've got them, and I'll be annoyed if there comes a trade of them all, but it's just fine. And that's your lot.
Splendid. Well, I'm looking at the timer on my phone, and we've got 9 seconds to wrap this up before the hard stop and the dog starts barking. So, usual thing, find us on Twitter at MGUK Podcast. You can follow me at Lelujo.
I'm at RB6K or Sheepdog Says.
Your dog's barking.
And I'm at Ab1986.
Plus Facebook, other places on the internet. Bye-bye. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening, folks.